So how you been?
My hair is straight. Did you notice?
Yeah. You went to the old hair person.
I did. Hair person. How do I look?
You look lovely.
Thank you,
That
Austin.
that's a beautiful look.
Hey,
Uh,
it's a video episode, so the viewers get to enjoy me with a mustache for 2 seconds. Yay!
they sure do. They sure do indeed.
What are you trying
Uh
to say? What are you trying to say? That people won't enjoy that? That's quality content. Chef's kid. Ah! It just sprinted.
no more
There was a
cat.
cat behind me, but then she just did what cats do, and the brain cell kicked in for a second, and it zooped.
Yep.
Bill
uh
has a mystical glowing sign behind him.
yeah, it's this really fancy sign our mother got me for my birthday that's for the podcast, but because my webcam isn't very good, it doesn't really see it. So you get this
Well,
glowing thing in the background.
it's you can like kind of see it like on certain colors. Like when it turns reddish, you can kind of see there's something there. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to mess around with the settings later, but
Yeah.
because it's got like this. It doesn't have a remote. It's got this like clicky thing, but it's all the way back there, and I can't reach it right now. So
Oh.
I had to rearrange everything to fit that back there too, which is always fun.
Looks good though.
Hmm.
I can't not say this, but your 3DO sign is very crooked.
It's been crooked since it went up, and I just don't feel like moving it anymore
Do you
because
have a level?
I tried to fix it once and made it worse, and I said fuck it, and
It's
it's just
so
there now.
crooked. It's really bothering me. I'm gonna have to come over and fix it. It's really How is it stuck? Is it just thumbtacks?
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna
it
fix that.
it's been up there for so long, it's kind of stuck to the wall now.
No,
So
we're gonna find a way. It is so crooked, and I hate it. It needs to be fixed.
everything is like kind of crooked and nonsensical in here. So
No, no, no. It's worse when you have like the two of the episode icon photos of the thumbnails next to it that are that are parallel and like lined up, and then that is just like it bothers me. I need to fix it. I will fix it tomorrow. I will break into your house and fix it.
no, you won't. It's too much
Under
effort
your
for you.
walls. No. Well, I'm de-Christmasing tomorrow, so I will request your assistance at one point of just helping me get all the bins and stuff upstairs and maybe downstairs. In return, I might get pizza. You want some za? You want some za?
Sure. Yeah,
Yay!
but yeah, I did that. Already de-Christmas because I don't have nearly as much Christmas stuff. The hardest part was taking the tree apart. It was really
Yeah.
about it.
I'm gonna start doing some of it tonight. Is my plan. I'm gonna work out after this and then start doing some of it tonight because mostly the tree upstairs it has to go. Pooh is a monster, and she just beats the shit out of that. Like the tree's kind of destroyed at this point. She just fucking murdered it. Like,
Mhm.
she had a vendetta against that tree and she wanted it to die. I don't. But it keeps me up at night, so it's going by tonight. We're saying goodbye to it, and then I'll do the outdoors some point tomorrow, or I might push that off. We'll see. I want to get the inside though.
Nice. Yeah, I just like I started doing the tree and I just said fuck it because most of my stuff it's just two buckets and I just have them in my basement right now because I don't want to do the attic at the moment.
Yeah,
But
understandable.
most of it I hide under my stairs because I can hide stuff under there.
Yes, that is a good spot. Mine is not as open, but I do store a bunch of stuff under there, which is very helpful.
Hmm. Yeah, so I did that. I've worked on my little layout here. It still probably has to be some more work done, but I'll worry about that at a later time.
Yeah.
Um, other than that, I got to clean a little bit, but I can do that during the week, so it's not a huge deal.
Hmm. Oh, I told you about how I got the cord for my my road,
Yeah.
my little. So new problem. I think the adapter for the thing died, like the power adapter, because it's not getting any power.
I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, it won't, like, because when I plug a different cord into it, it says there's not enough power. Like, you need to use the adapter. So, like, I think it's the actual power adapter now that broke somehow.
Yeah, I'll have to look at it.
Yay! This thing hates me. I just want to use it. It's just sitting here doing nothing.
Yep. Welcome to podcasting.
Yes. Yeah, and then here's my popped stress ball. That's very sticky. I'm not gonna squeeze it because I don't want my hands to be sticky. But
Oh
good thing I
Lord.
have two more. This one
until
looks
you
like
until
this
you
one
break
looks
these
like a
ones.
peep.
That's
Could you hear
gross.
that?
Yeah, very easily. Enough.
This one sounds like very like wet.
Yeah. Okay, enough.
Wait together.
This is
Another part is the video version, so people are just gonna see me go like with my fucking stress balls.
yeah.
This, I'm not kidding. This is how we all
And
entered.
now you got too crazy and now you're out of focus.
That
Well,
didn't work.
you've screwed it up. Let's move on.
Well, I'm trying to get it back now. Maybe if I just shake you a little bit.
No.
Fuck!
It'll fix it. There you go.
I'm back.
There. Oh jeez. Yeah, other than that though, today I went to the grocery store, which was hell, like it usually is on a Saturday.
I got an oil change.
Mm-hmm.
I was very behind on it. And they fixed my battery for free in my key, not my car battery, my key battery. They gave me a free one.
That's good.
Yay! And then I also went to the grocery store. It actually wasn't that crazy at Geisler's.
Well, Geisler's never is. I went to Big Y.
Yeah.
Don't go to Big Y.
I
around
didn't.
noon on
I
a
almost
Saturday.
went to Big Y because I was technically closer to there based on where the dealership was. And I said, I don't want to do that to myself. And I said, I'm just going to go to Geisler's. And it took me kind of a detour way to get there. But you know what? It was probably a lot less of a shit show than you went through. So
Yeah. No, it also doesn't help too that it snowed last night, and when it snows in New England, it either
you need
accumulates
8
or.
gallons of milk.
Did you see that picture going around?
What?
There was a picture of some guy posting. He's like, we had a 1-day snow warning, and it was just a picture of a carriage with like them full of jugs of milk, and I was just like,
Well, what's crazy right now is, well, a lot of people are putting like One Piece references because half of the United States is frozen and half of it is on fire. And there's an arc in One Piece called Punk Hazard, which is an island that is half on fire and half frozen. So everyone's saying we've entered the Punk Hazard arc of the United
yeah,
States.
we sure
It
have.
is great. Some of those, like, have you seen though, like the damage from the wildfires?
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's not good.
It is crazy.
We're beyond the point now where you can make jokes, and now it's just kind of like like
No,
this is
yeah, like I
actually.
feel really bad. Like there was one video that like I almost started crying. Like there was this family, a
Yeah, but
mom and a son are like they were bringing their horses with them. So they're like both have two horses in each of their hand. And then there's this annoying ass reporter who's like trying to interview them and they're just like, "Listen, we're trying to get our horses out of here. Get away." Like they were like really good. Because I don't think a lot of people think about it, but I'm sure there was a lot of animals left behind, which
there
is really
probably was.
sad.
See, that's the thing I hate is like they're only talking about the freaking celebrities. They're not talking about the millions of other people.
No, yeah.
Like,
Like,
yeah, it sucks for the celebrities, but there's also millions of other people that it also sucks for.
and it's also like, I'm sorry, but all those celebrities got out of there in time before there's some people there who like died. Like there's a lot of people who died in those fires and just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who like they're not a celebrity. They don't have millions of dollars that they can just buy a new house. They've lost everything. Like yeah, the celebrities probably lost a lot of memories too, but like they at least like they can rent a hotel. They they have like they can buy a lot of that stuff back. There's some people like they will never get any of that back. Like
Yep.
it's I hate that they're centered around the celebrities too. It is
Oh, it's just the media is a fucking joke. Like I don't
yeah.
like I don't like the news. I don't watch it. Period. And like this is even like online. It's like guys, like there's other things to be focused on. Like
Yeah.
maybe
And
finding ways
and
to prevent this in the future.
well, it was sad. Like I did see an interview with like the fire chief of the area, and like I won't say that they're perfect and they did everything right, but listening to some of the things they said of like the amount of people we have staffed compared to years ago versus now, and how much the fires are significantly worse. There's no way like they didn't have there was no way they could do anything like
Yeah.
just it just sucks. Like,
It,
but
that
there's
whole
definitely
thing.
there was problems. Like, obviously, I think within there as well. But like, it's definitely understaffed, and in a
Like
place like California where
it's
this is happening all the time,
typical California being a shit show, like
like
usual.
I just feel
Like
so bad for all those people.
the innocent people over there, like it's
Stop
ridiculous.
focusing on celebrities. Focus on the actual people. I know celebrities are people, but like they'll be fine.
Are they?
They'll yeah.
This is
Like
a joke. It's a joke, people.
no, I know. But, like, they'll be fine. There's tons of other people who need help. Well, it was
Yeah.
actually really nice, like, the brand that I'm actually wearing their necklace, Teddy Fresh, they actually posted and they said, "Anyone affected by the wildfires, we'll send you clothes. Like, we will send you clothes for nothing. Like, just reach out to them and they'll send it," which was really nice of them because a lot of brands were posting it's like, hey, your orders might be affected by the wildfires, but they didn't even talk about that. They just talked about like here, we're giving you clothes for free, like please take them. So that was a really nice thing. So I would definitely say if you like their stuff, definitely support them because that was a really they didn't have to do that.
True.
Mm.
Now, if only Ethan would stop putting his foot in his mouth every other week, but that's
it's
besides the
it's
point.
mostly I would say it's mostly Gila's brand
Well,
at this
I know
point.
that. I'm
So
just saying he is related to it, and he does have a
no,
problem
I
with
know.
putting his foot in his mouth every other week. But
Yeah.
he can be a very nice guy. He just needs to stop talking sometimes. Like
I mostly
Jesus,
associate the brand with his
I know,
wife,
I know,
Hila.
but he is a big part of promoting it. So,
Yeah.
but speaking about the snow that happened here, this is New England. It wasn't warm. Wasn't cold enough to stick. Period. But also they put down like a gargantuan amount of salt. So any snow that did survive the
I'm
temperature.
I'm surprised they salt as much as they do where we live. Like just because like we're in like a pretty I mean, it's not rural, but like compared to other areas of Connecticut, it's a very farmy area. And I know for us, like we never got salt back at home because everyone had wells. So I'm assuming a lot of people have maybe there's not as many wells up here. Maybe a lot of
Yeah,
people have town
probably.
water.
It's.
Um
I'm not gonna lie. I think the salt's a little excessive, but
I just think they're probably just making taking the risk of they don't want to risk someone getting hurt because
yeah.
a lawsuit not great.
Even on the roads, though, I was like, God damn! Like it, like it didn't even stick. Uh,
Yeah, I think it's more though is that they're more worried about tonight. It's gonna get really cold and then it might
true.
freeze over. I think that's more what they're worried, especially with how windy it's been recently too. If it gets cold, and that gust of wind that's like -5 degrees, that's black ice. So
My favorite part was I was watching the weather like on the app for a little bit, and it started out at 100% chance of snow. Then it dropped down to 50. Then it jumped back up to 75. And then it was down to like 35, and I was like, yeah, this is New England for you.
yeah,
They have no idea.
hiccup. I
Yeah.
haven't hiccuped on the show in a while.
Nah. You've also been very far away from the mic, and you've been stressed lately.
Am
So
I a lot close? Like, how's the sound? How's the sound? The sound.
you sound fine.
Sound. Oh wait,
Um,
ASMR time. Hello, listeners. Bill hates when I talk ASMR into the mic, but I do it just to annoy him. Bill, Oh, music. I know what time it is. Bill, what are you drinking? What are you drinking, Bill?
I am having, because it is a Saturday and it is after 5, I'm having a Blue Moon.
All right, give us a fact.
There's no nutritional facts on this. It's a fucking
What?
beer.
Is there fluid ounces?
I don't care. It's a beer. It
Let
has
me
orange.
see.
It's got
Let me
orange in
just-
it.
Give us something more. I saw something on the side. What does the side say? There was a little blob of text. I saw something.
Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly. It isn't
right.
drink. It's celebrate.
All right. I will take that. That's more from Bill than I usually get. Bill, aren't you going to ask me what I'm drinking?
How's that liquid death you're drinking, Alex?
I'm drinking a liquid death. I believe it's the same thing I was drinking the last episode. Root beer wrath, flavored sparkling water, 12 fluid ounces, which equates to 355 milliliters. Everyone fucking cares. You take that off the screen right now. Murder your thirst. Murder it. Murder it. What else? What else can I say? This ruthless can of flavored sparkling water has a, what does that say? You take that down. Has a, attack on what? Has a twisted plan to use natural agave and exploding bubbles to murder your thirst.
It's bougie water. It's good.
Contains 0% juice. I would hope so. This is root beer flavored, but this is really good. Like if you kind of want root beer, but you don't want to have like a soda with a lot of sugar root beer, you should get this. It's really good.
Nice.
And it really tastes a lot like root beer, just a little like not as sugary and sweet, but you get that nice root beer feel.
Nice. Also, this is just officially Alex's drink song now.
Yes. I love it. And once
you know my favorite part?
Wait, turn it back on because I gotta dance.
What's funny is like these are all pre-loaded songs into StreamYards, and like this one's literally called Into Space. I'm like, yeah, Alex is into space, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough
With
of
my
that.
liquid death. With my lip. How fucking dare you? I wasn't done.
Well, anyways, guys, we should probably
Thanks
start.
so much for watching the
waffling
gaming and you get rid of that right now. I want one of those. Why don't I get a fun bar?
Because you're not in control.
Why am I not in control? I should be in control.
No.
I should be in control. For one episode, I should be in control. Wait, you know what would be really funny? Is if we we switched houses and I recorded from your and you recorded from mine.
No.
That's so stupid, but so silly.
No.
Get rid of the waffle time. I hate the waffle time. I hate
because
waffling.
You hate it. Well, you made it a thing.
Can we bake potato on?
No.
How about pizza pie on? I really want pizza.
So
can we get pizza tomorrow?
You already said you wanted to.
I want pizza.
Well,
I'm trying to just take back the waffle and I'll let you continue.
It's already gone.
You take it back.
It's been gone.
Take back the words you spoke. Say something else. Everyone cares. Oh, is it fact time? All right. What else can I read? Death to plastic. We donate.
Enough of that.
Oh, you want me to do? Damn it.
Well, anyways, so we have a topic for this episode.
Thanks so much for watching gaming.
So this one is a bit different. We're trying something a little new. We're not talking gaming. We're not talking anime. Instead, we're talking about a series of movies from our childhood that were, at the time, we thought they were good.
Looking back, maybe not this much.
The first one, maybe I might give a pass, but we're talking about the Spy Kids franchise, which this was a franchise that I remember was everywhere for like a good period from like 2001 to 3.
Hmm.
Um, I don't even remember if these movies were good then. I think Kid Brain is
Yeah,
a.
it's hard to judge. I mean, I did go and look at like kind of the IMDb
I mean,
score
the
just to
first
kind
movie
of
was well
see.
received.
Yeah, I mean, like it got like a 5 out of 10. On, but I mean, those ratings are kind of all over the
IMDb
place.
isn't 100% the
But they
most
only
accurate.
get worse from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
was just trying to see anywhere like
see,
Rotten
Rotten
Tomatoes. Like, see,
Tomatoes
Rotten
gave the first
Tomatoes
one.
says 92%.
Yeah.
It says 92% fresh. But then like the popcorn meter, I don't know. The audience score was 47%. So
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know though. But was Rotten Tomatoes around when this movie came out?
Yeah, pretty sure.
It was?
I
Huh.
think so.
I
When did
don't know.
Rotten Tomatoes launched in 1998, so yes, it was
All
around.
right, yes. Yeah. So it seems like, I mean, it's
Not saying
like
Rotten Tomatoes is an accurate. Um, None of these things are really accurate. It's all opinion based.
no,
Let's be.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
these films are very interesting. They are created by Robert Rodriguez, who is an American filmmaker, composer, visual effects supervisor. He's been known for a lot of films. These are actually like I think some of his more well-known films, even though they're not like a lot of his stuff. Like he did a lot of different stuff, like From Dusk Till Dawn, which is a Western horror film. Um,
Okay.
One of his movies I remember very well is he did a movie called Planet Terror, which is
Oh.
which is a very absurd movie on a lot
Mhm.
of levels. Um, he's just done a whole bunch of stuff. Danny Trejo's in like all of his films for whatever reason.
Hey, they're friends. They must
Oh,
be.
he did a Sin City too.
Hmm.
That's cool. But yeah, he's done a whole bunch of films. They're kind of all over the place. Spy Kids is like his most child friendly films, you say.
Yeah.
And these films are bad to be nice
Yeah.
about it.
They're not like they're not good film. We're just gonna say
No.
they are not like Avengers Endgame. They are not The Godfather. They're not amazing classic. I don't know. I was just thinking of
So
people consider good movies.
just for a little thing I want to bring up. The first movie I give a pass because that one was at least different. 2, 3, and 4. So let's put it this way: the fourth movie has 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, um, and the second movie has like 75%. I don't
Yep.
think these movies are any different in quality. They are pretty much the same quality as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Um,
I
do
would
I?
say like the first one, what makes the first one good is it has just kind of a good story to it,
Well,
of
it's
like it has
also
the best story.
kind of grounded for what at least for what these films are supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
because
you were able to follow the plot of this one. I remember the second one. I was like, "What the fuck are they doing now?" Like,
the second one had too many plots. That was the
yeah,
problem. Like, because the first one is a very simple like family kind of story where the parents are two spies and they had kids and they retired, but then they get back into the game, and then
because
of
I missed
course,
it.
yeah, and then of course they immediately get captured, and then the kids have to join in, and then the kids become spies, and then of course it's like a little fun little rescue thing. The villains are
Yeah,
very memorable and kind of wacky.
yeah. Well, especially like the all the faces and stuff, like the funky faces and what they do to the people that they've kidnapped. Like that, it was pretty interesting.
Also, these movies in particular have some very interesting casting choices. Like there are some surprisingly high name actors in these. Like
Mm,
the first movie alone had Antonio Banderas, Danny Trejo, Terry Hatcher, Cheech Marin, like a lot
yes.
of really good actors, and everyone. The acting is cheesy as fuck, and like the scripts
Mm,
are pretty awful, but the actual performances I think are really good. Like, um,
yeah.
And Antonio Banderas does a very good job at what he does,
Hmm.
being basically playing himself.
Yes.
They make fun of the fact that like anytime he like says anything, no one can understand him. Um,
Yep.
then I did like the main quote unquote villain. He's not even really the villain in this. The
Hmm.
musical guy. What was his name?
That was Floop.
Oh yeah, Floop. Alan Cummings played Fegan Floop from the
Yes.
host of Floop's Fooglies.
Yes, the Fooglies. Uh,
He's a cheeseball, but like his acting, he is so the acting is so cheesy, but he's like so serious. Like he is like so 100% with every like line he does that it's very endearing.
Honestly, that is one thing I think about all of these movies is like there is a lot of passion from the people in the movies because like we'll talk about the fourth one, and in the fourth one it wasn't new. So the first three movies, Spy Kids 1, 2, and then 3, all had the same main casting for the most part.
Yeah,
There's probably some people who didn't
Alex
turn in.
Vega and
Alexa Vega.
Alex Vega, and what was the Daryl Sabara as
Yeah,
Junie.
they were the main, the main two spy. They were the main two spy kids. There was other spy kids in the second one, and I think the third one. No, I don't think. Yeah, they made a brief cameo. Um, but the fourth
Everybody made a
movie,
cameo in the third movie.
yes, the fourth movie though is when it was. So the first three movies all came out around the same time, and then the fourth movie came out
A decade later,
many years. It was like 20 something.
2011, I want to say.
Yeah, 2011. So there's definitely quite a bit. And at this point, Alexa Vega and where and I can't remember his name.
Daryl Sabara.
Daryl Sabra. They both they were no longer kids, so it was
Oh yeah,
kind of harder to be
we
spy
saw
kids.
them grow up, and then
Yeah,
they had very charming cameos in the fourth movie. I will say.
which and it was really sweet to see all the cameos because even I believe one of the other main characters also came back for a quick cameo. I'm brain farting on the name. The uncle, who's actually the
Oh
uncle.
yeah, Danny Trio, but
Yes,
he's in like basically every Rodriguez film.
yeah, but he did have, and that just shows that there's a lot of passion in these movies, and they all just genuinely care. Because I think at that point, both of them weren't really. I don't know how much acting they were doing, or if they had moved on to other projects, but it was definitely a passion project for them to come back for that fourth one. We're also going to talk about another movie, but we'll save that for the end, and
Yeah,
we'll
we
just
also we'll also preface we did not watch the fifth Spy Kids movie on Netflix, the
yeah,
Armageddon, I think it's called, just because we watched these all on New Year's and we were very. I was drinking. Alex was tired. Um,
yeah.
by the
What's new?
after the fourth one, it was very much like I've seen enough, and like I don't. That other one is a complete reboot, so I didn't even care.
Yeah, I think we were. I think it was okay that we didn't. We can always, if we want, we can always go back into it. But I think we were fine.
Yeah, it's really funny though because the first movie is very simple in hindsight. Like it's basically just save the world kind of plot.
Yeah, we'll save your
Um,
family, save the world, and it's also interesting because at first, they weren't immediately gonna save their family. They were sent to this little safe house, and then boom, the people that they think are good are actually working for the bad guys. So they were kind of they didn't really have a choice. They kind of had to go and had to help save their parents because no one else was going to at that point.
hmm,
Um, which was good. And I will say the chemistry between Alexa
the
and
main cast.
the siblings is so great. Because I
I
mean
forgot how incompetent Junie was in. Well, he's incompetent in every fucking film, but he is
but
like
then the best part is he becomes the S rank spy kid and but you're just how this kid sucks.
oh yeah, even in like the fourth film, they make a joke about how much he kind of sucks. Um, the first movie though, he is the most the first movie really highlights the fact that these are kids because
Yeah.
like Judy is so much like he's clearly like 8 or like 7, whatever how old he was, and he is so incompetent at everything in like an endearing way.
Oh, it was really cute. Like it was pretty adorable.
It was basically our relationship as kids, only reversed.
Yeah. No, that was pretty fun. Hey, I was
Well,
competent.
at
You
something.
take that back. Take that back, or I'll squeeze the stress ball into the mic.
We were both confident and incompetent at specific things, but we were both also dumb children.
Yes.
So.
All right, I'll accept that. I'll accept that.
Also, the main villain, Dr. Minion. I love the names. They're so fucking dumb. I love his like transformation at the end where he just becomes this like abomination with like 12 hands and like 7 heads.
Oh my god, like the faces coming out of his face.
He's got like 3 heads coming out of his face, and then he's got like multiple hands, and he just is like this abomination. And they have the ability. What's up?
I can't unsee this. Why does that kind of look like Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers? Why in that image? I just sent you it in Discord.
Why
does he kind of look like Joe in that picture? It looks like Joe. Are you trying to? Yeah, but he has like his main face and then the faces coming out of it.
I love how they create that look though, because like they literally just like shove a bunch of faces together out of clay and then fuse them to it.
Well, and I have a bigger appreciation for this now, but I started watching. Have you ever heard of the show Face Off?
Maybe.
It's basically it's like Project Runway, but instead of clothes, it's actually like the special effects makeup. So whenever I see stuff like this, I now have a bigger appreciation for it, just seeing how much freaking work and stuff goes into that. But this looks freaking sick. I mean, for the time, like this is.
Well, yeah, it was mostly this movie was cool too because it's mostly practical effects. Like I think the most fantastical it gets is like when they're in like Floop's little dream world.
Yeah, but even then, all the actors, those are all prosthetics. Like those are all like those are all special effects makeup.
Well, Robert Rodriguez was always like a low budget kind of guy. He was very good at getting a lot out of less.
Yes, there is definitely all the budgets on these are pretty low, but they definitely look great.
A lot of the budget in these is in the actors, I'm assuming, because they got George Clooney for like the shortest role, like where he's the president of the spy corporation, and the whole gimmick he has is where he's got this like black mask over his face, like a sensor bar over his eyes.
Yeah, but then
he just takes it off. like what's the point?
But that's the stuff that's so charming about it, and what's like so stupid. Like, oh, it's so good. I also love at the end of the first one, like the little twist of that, like they get a call from George Clooney and they're like, the parents are like, all right, when are we needed? And he's like, no, I don't want to fucking talk to you. I'm talking to the kids. I want the spy kids.
I love how we don't even call him the who he's supposed to play. He's just George Clooney because that's just that's par for the course with George Clooney in most movies.
But I guess like for the first one, you would definitely say the first one is the best one. Out of all.
It's the most fun one out of all of them. I will say though, like we also forgot to talk about the thumb people.
Oh, the thumb monstrosity. Those were all CG. Those were all CGI. Also, it is very funny that in the later what's it called? The later movies, they just have one as like a little minion in their house, like doing the cooking and stuff.
Yeah, he's a buddy. Okay, one thing I will say I really enjoy about these movies, at least the first 3, they have a really good sense of continuity.
Yeah.
Like they call back, like there'll be an event that happens at the end of each one, and they will call back to it in like the following films. Like things will be referenced. Like
minus the 4th one where they kind of forgot.
The 4th one, they we'll get to that. But yeah, like the first movie, it's the safest one. It's not a good movie. Like I won't say this is like high art by any means, but
Academy Award winning Oscar nominee. This is not that kind of movie. Is it a fun movie? Yes.
As a dumb little goofy film that's like
is it slightly trash? Yes.
Yeah, it's that good kind of movie. That being said, though, the second movie, I
Yes.
don't know. This one, I think, is my least favorite of the trilogy, the original three.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree. Well, the plot just seemed was kind of dumb.
Well,
And
because
it was
they do the
all over
class,
the place, like you
yeah,
said.
they do the classic. So they're winners at the end. Like the first movie ties off very well. Like that, it really didn't need to have a sequel.
But
That
money.
being well, that being said, though, then they go to the next one, and then so now it's like, oh yeah, by the way, the spies all go to like spy school, and like it's like this whole like
Well, they started
association
like
thing.
the Spy Kids school of
Hmm.
training center. Um, after after the success of Junie and Carmen.
Yeah. And the thing that's very interesting is like so the movie kind of starts off where you think, oh, it's okay, they're all like competent now and they're like really good. And then we get the classic plotting device of like, well, they have to have their conflicts. So we bring in another set of spy kids who are the children of the director or one of the main directors of the spy group, which is like, huh, nepotism, I see.
Yep.
Um,
Which
and
one of
they,
them was played by what was her name? I know she was in Hannah Montana.
yeah, Hannah Montana's friend, the blonde
Yes,
girl. Um, I forget right now.
I can't remember her name. We're not. If you couldn't tell, we're not like huge actor and actresses fans. Like we don't really know anyone.
Well, yeah, what was her name? Well, because they had that family had the goofiest names. They were the Giggles. They were the
Yes.
Giggles. Um, yeah. So the male one was Gary Giggle. Emily Osment, that's her name.
Ah, yes, yes.
She was Gertie Giggles,
Gertie.
and she can fly with her hair, helicopter hair. Makes sense.
Yep.
No, it doesn't make sense at all. They only use
Oh,
it
and then
once.
also the Pretty Reckless. She was
We'll get.
also in this movie.
Yeah, she was. Taylor, the funniest part is she's actually billed higher than Emily Osment, which is really funny.
Yeah.
Um, because she plays the president's daughter, who is the beginning of the conflict. Because she's this she steals the thing because she wants attention from her dad, and she steals this thing from him, and of course they have to go save her from this out of control ride, which was hilariously unsafe, and I kind of loved it for that.
Yes.
Um, wasn't the name of the guy who ran the park like Dinky or something?
Yeah, it was definitely like Dinkies or something because he comes back
Because
with his son.
it's a cowboy like themed like park, but the guy is like a legitimate cowboy,
Dinky
and he's
Winks.
oh
Dinky
yeah,
Winks theme
Dinky
park.
Winks, played by Bill Paxton of all people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but they end up rescuing the president's daughter, who is played by Taylor Momsen nowadays of the Pretty Reckless. And what I noticed her right away, and I was like, I know that actress. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's Cindy Lou Who.
Hoo-hoo.
Make me want to die. Like yes. Um,
Also in for other movie shows that she was also in not Pretty Little Gossip Girl. She was also in
Gossip Girl.
Gossip
Yeah.
Girl.
Before she decided she wanted to be the singer of an alt metal band,
Yeah.
which I much prefer her doing these days. So that being said, though, yeah, the plot starts off where there's this obvious conflict, and then like the court. Antonio Banderas' character. I don't remember his name. I just know he's Antonio Banderas. He's up for being the leader of the spy corporation, but of
Yep.
course it goes to Mike Judge.
Mr.
I don't
The
Mr.
Giggles.
Giggles. Mr. Giggles, played by Mike Judge.
Yes.
Um, and of course, then like this whole like conflict happens, and Junie somehow screws it up because Junie is incompetent.
Yep.
Um, like there's a common theme where Junie's just
She just
incredibly
sucks.
he does, and he basically gets himself fired from the spy corps, and then
Yes. But he
immediately
gets
gets
put
himself.
on like what's it called? He gets put on like I forget. It's
No, no,
basic. No.
he gets straight up to like fired. Like he
Yeah.
was basically like out. Um, and then like of course they do some. There's like this whole like plot about this like mystic island that they have to visit, and they end up
Yep.
hacking
Yeah,
him
and
back
I
in.
feel
And
like that's where they started losing me. Like the island and stuff. Like I was just like, okay, what the fuck is happening now?
well,
Because
what I
Carmen.
found interesting, yeah, what I found interesting was Carmen wasn't that into it in the first movie, and then now she's just fucking like the best spy. And it's like okay, sure.
Also, well, also like Carmen, like I feel like they kind of wrote Carmen's character bad because like
Oh,
the
they because they it was the early 2000s, Alex. Girls liked the hot teen boy.
well, yeah, but it was disappointing in terms of like Carmen's and Junie's relationship as brother and sister, of like where she, rather than like taking her brother's side, like immediately took this little twerp side.
The
Uh,
hot
like,
teen boy.
yeah, I don't know, it's just a
Early
little frustrating.
2000s, Alex. Nowadays, yeah, it's aged horribly, but in the early 2000s, that was so common.
Yeah, but this whole time she's like, "No, he would never do anything," and I'm
Even
like,
though
"But
he's
yeah, he
so
would."
obviously evil. Well, not
Yeah,
really evil, just a dick.
yeah,
Um,
just a jerk, a
also one of
bad boy. That's what they called him. He
also
gets
like
covered
one of
in shit later.
they both do. Him and his
That's the
sister.
plot point. They're
Uh-huh.
stinky.
Well, yeah, because they get sent off on a different mission because Carmen basically hijacks their entire thing.
Yep.
And what's great is this movie has, as much as I don't think this movie's written very well, it has some very memorable quotes. Like I always remember the famous line of Danny Trio being like, "Look, I got you the new spy watch. It does everything except tell time. There was no room for the clock." And it's like great.
This one also though has some pretty egregious CGI
Well, you didn't like
animation.
Ralph?
No,
Well, I
I
love
didn't like
Ralph.
I didn't like Ralph, but also like there was that one scene where both of us were like, when they're fighting the skeletons. And
Oh yeah,
it just looked fucking horrible. It
the
looked
wind
awful.
the Windows Vista skeletons. Yes,
Oh, that was fucking terrible. Oh, I'm out of focus again. Oh well, maybe it'll just.
it'll go back eventually.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the whole thing like that because there's a whole plot about the island that they're going to has this weird like power device. It was so insignificant
Yes.
to the plot that I didn't even
Yeah,
care.
that's the thing. Like, I didn't even know why they went to the island, but it had to do with
World domination,
well,
basically.
world domination and the guy who got elected, Mr. Giggles. It was his device because
Yeah,
he
because
ends
he's
up
just evil in this movie for no
well,
reason.
because while the kids are on their way there, their parents are also like, Mr. Giggles tells them that their kids have gone, and then they leave, and then suddenly their grandparents show up as well, and they also want to go, and the grandparents hate the dad, and it was like there
Oh
was
yeah,
a
it
lot
was the
going on. It was like this wasn't
yeah,
needed.
it was the classic. The parents of the mother hate the in-law, and they're just like shitting on him the entire. Like
Yeah,
she takes it, she steals his mustache. She stole Antonio Banderas' mustache.
yeah. But
Also,
also
we'll
like
get
some of like the hate like towards him, like I was just like there wasn't like you didn't know them enough to be like, oh my god, why do they hate this guy so much? Like it
this
doesn't really
is
seem
the
like he's
most.
done anything.
It is the most early 2000s movie ever. Like there is so many tropes that are like this wouldn't even be used nowadays. This is such an early 2000s like trope.
Yeah. It was like going back, it's like it was like there's so much going on and I feel like none of it really gets like a good like like it just got all right, movie's
My
over.
my favorite part about this movie was not the villain because the villain was Mike Judge and it was so fucking lame,
Yeah.
which is saying something because I love Mike Judge, but just the fact that he just becomes a villain for no reason.
Yeah.
But my
Well,
favorite
and he
character
gets
in this,
whipped the next movie.
well, we'll get to that because I love how they handled him in the next movie. But my favorite character was the scientist on the island who was played by Steve Buscemi, and I just fucking loved it.
Steve Buscemi, like that's the funniest part.
The
Oh,
fact that they have so many fucking good actors in these movies,
yeah.
but
And they're
I
doing
just
such
love
shit roles.
oh yeah, and I just love Steve Buscemi's character because he's like this like hermit like on like this island. And he's like, I made these tiny little hybrid creatures and they're just my pets, but I accidentally made them huge. And I love the scene where he accidentally makes the one too big and he's like, oh no, and then he accidentally spills the entire vial into the fucking all of them.
Yep.
Um
Well, and like it's funny how he's like he's hiding away from them the whole time, and they all just secretly like love him and want him to be friends.
yeah,
But he's been
because he's
hiding
all
this
like
whole. He's scared that they're
terrified.
gonna kill him.
He's all terrified when he goes out. And he's like, oh no. He's like, and then they're just like, nah, bro, you're daddy. We love you.
Yes, they are.
Um, yeah, but of course, eventually the other spy kids show up on this island, and then they have this whole like basically like everything just goes wrong for everybody.
Mhm.
And then like the ending, the one thing that I thought was like annoying too was like they hype up the uncle who isn't actually the uncle. He's just a guy who pretended to be their uncle. Like he's played by Cheech Martin, so Cheech
Yes.
Marin.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and he betrays them.
yeah, he betrays them right at the end, and they're like, but you're our uncle. He's like, I'm not your uncle, which
Oh.
we'll get to that in the next film. But yeah, it's like the whole ending, but then it's just like surprise, and then they just like the obviously the guy's kids betray him because they realize he's obviously evil,
Yeah.
and then everything
And
gets
they're like,
saved,
we're
and
gonna
then
tell mom. Also, did the grandma and grandpa do anything?
no, they were just there for comedic
Okay,
relief.
like okay, good. Because I was like, I don't remember them doing anything at all.
The only thing they did besides dump on Antonio Banderas the entire movie was there's the point where Carmen and Junie take out the tracking chips out of their teeth,
Oh
and they're
yeah.
and the
With
grandpa's
also
like,
those comically large teeth.
oh yeah, and then and then the grandpa's like, he's like, does Judy still have that necklace I gave him? And it was just, I don't even think he really cared about Judy that much. I think he just was like, I wanted to one up
I
Antonio
want my
Banderas.
necklace. No.
No, he just wanted to one up Antonio Banderas.
Yeah,
He's
be
like,
like,
how?
haha, I know where the kids are. As long
Yeah,
as they're together. If they're not together, then fuck.
yes.
Also,
So,
oh, wait, no, you can't move on to the next movie without talking about the credit scene.
well, I was gonna get to that because I
Oh,
was gonna
okay,
also
good.
mention like right at the end where, you know, the day gets saved and like Mike Judge gets demoted.
Yep.
Antonio Banderas becomes the head of Spy Corps, and
Yeah.
then Junie gets promoted to like the thing that he wanted the whole time, like level 1, and then he immediately quits and says, "I'm going independent."
I'm going solo.
Yeah, and it's like, cool, Junie, no one cares.
Yeah.
We'll see you next movie. But during the credits, there's this entire like scene where basically they just wanted to get Alex Vega to sing and dance so they
Yep.
could make a single.
Yep.
Um,
It's
she
a
does
great
this.
song. It's on Spotify if you're wondering.
It's so cheesy,
It's a great song. What are you talking about?
but it's she
Oh,
has this like device that's it's like a thing that Danny Trio Machete gives her, and it's
yeah.
like it's so she can sing and dance and won't have to worry about it. Oh, and here, Junie, here's this magic guitar that will just make you good at guitar. Um, and then the whole joke is after the dance number, they're like, I forgot to turn on the thing. I forgot the batteries or something.
Well, the funniest part too is like, like I'm sure that Alexa Vega actually had to like take classes to sing and dance, and I'm pretty certain that Junie, I already forget Daryl, like literally probably just was air guitaring the whole time.
Oh yeah.
She had worked so hard, and he probably just was like, "Yeah, what the fuck ever, I'm here,"
Well,
just
look,
jumping around the stage.
Daryl Sabro does a very good job, but he's such a dork in these movies that I don't think anyone really wanted to see him look cool.
I mean, but that's part of his character. He is a dork.
Oh yeah. And speaking of that, let's go to Spy Kids 3D or 3, whatever you want to call it. They actually changed the thing in the movie to 3 when you're not watching the 3D version, which is kind of funny.
Well, where did we watch it on? We watched it on.
HBO Max or was it
Yes,
Paramount? I think it was
it might
HBO
have
Max.
just been they edited it for that, but
Well, no,
I
no, no.
think
That we had the DVD. The DVD was like that too.
oh, it was okay.
Because they edited out all the glasses on scenes.
Yep.
Fun fact: we saw this in the theater and it looked like shit.
Yes. Oh
um,
yeah. It's one thing to preference in the beginning. All of the 3D gimmicks are probably the most hammy, not no zero effort 3D gimmicks. Like
well,
if
it
they
was the
can have
early.
something fall on the screen, it was falling on the screen.
It was like how they did Jackass 3D, and it was like such obvious like bait for 3D. Like
Yeah.
3D was the hip new thing. Let's try it on
We
everything.
gotta
And
shoehorn it in every inch of the movie.
any chance we get to throw something at the screen, we will do it. Which
We will
in
do it.
watching the movie in non 3D is hilarious.
Yeah,
But
because it just looks like shit.
I mean, the whole movie. This movie is the most blatant with the CG. I will say.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it takes place in a video game world, so but it kind of also gets more away with it because it is taking place in this different world. It's not. But it was funny
Also,
looking at like in the credits. It showed like these background, like the scenes in them, and how the whole movie was basically shot on green screens.
Yes, which was pretty on par for the time because Star Wars Episode 3 was basically all green screen as well. So,
Yeah.
um,
Also, I got a point. The intro of this movie, that little girl who hired Junie is a private investigator, and that
yeah.
little girl who hired Junie is a fucking dumbass. I'm
Oh yeah.
sorry. Your parents own a
Where
water park and it's winter
no,
time.
I
Where's
don't
the
think
water?
Alex. You thought too hard into this. I don't think her parents owned the water park. I think she was just a kid that thought she owned a water park.
Oh my god.
Like I don't think it was even that deep. I think this was just some
He
random girl.
was scamming that child. He scammed the girl.
Yeah,
Junie
because
is a scammer. He scammed her.
well, no, my favorite part too is like, especially the payoff to that, where like the whole time he's working as a private eye to make money to buy a video game because of course he is,
Yes.
and there's a whole scene where like he's at this water park closed for the winter, and the girl's like, "Can you tell me who stole the water from my water park?" He's like, "Well, it's obvious. The water park is closed because it's winter." And she's
He
like,
fucking
"Well, who would do
scammed her.
that?" And he's like, "The people that actually own this water park."
Junie is a scammer. That's how the beginning of the movie
Yeah,
is. And you
but
know what? He gets his justice because he goes to buy that video game and then he's
well, no,
tempted to do something nice for the poor and then he
yeah.
gets back in line. He drops his piggy bank and all his money falls out. So fuck you, Junie, you
Also,
scammer.
all the people in the line had piggy banks, like, and I'm just like sitting here thinking, like, who the fuck brings the whole piggy bank? Take the
Yeah.
money out of it before you go to the store. Like, who does this?
I don't know. It was a movie.
Also, I love the fact that this movie was not realistic either, because when he trips and breaks his piggy bank and all the money flies out,
I
no one in
sprinted
yeah.
after that. Yeah, or the little kids would have been like, money.
Oh,
like,
like he doesn't even attempt to catch any of it. But then, like, also, like, everyone else just stays in line and doesn't even acknowledge it. And I'm just like, this is not real. If this was real life, all these people, like, savages, would be going after it and being like, money.
pinata. But he deserves it because he was a scammer. He scammed that girl.
Well, I hate the fact that, like, he's about to be nice and give it to charity. And then, like,
he's
he
like, fuck
immediately,
that.
well, no, he hears the little guy doing the ad for the game being all like, untold riches.
Oh,
And he
wait, not the
changed.
little guy, Bill.
No, I said
not
the guy.
Sylvester Stallone.
We'll get there.
He's in this fucking movie.
We'll get there because
That's his
there's
first appearance.
That's his voice.
No, his face was there too.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention.
He was in the advertisements on the screen. You've made me pull out the sticky strip.
Lovely. Yeah, but yeah, so this whole like thing is like he ends up getting a call from the spy corp who they're
come
like,
back, Junie, you're the best spy ever.
And he's like, no, I'm never coming back. And he's all of a sudden like, wait,
it's
Judy, your sister's gone. Which I am convinced that Alex Vega's contract, she only had like a tiny, like a clause that she could only do so much of this film, that because she's like only in like the last like
she might
20
have been
minutes.
working on different projects and stuff.
That's what because she was getting older by that point. So
yeah,
because like this movie's mostly Junie throughout it.
Yeah, it's very Junie centric, Junie fucking up centric.
I also love like when he gets back to Spy Corps. Mike Judge is once again back to his role, and they make a joke like, "Oh, you're not trying to take over the world again." He's like, "No, no, no. My wife got mad at me," and we see his wife, who is a bad bitch. That's all I will say.
And pigtails.
Well, they gave her the pigtails
because pigtails are genetic. Well, they're genetic.
It was a classic case of like they hired two kid actors and then they hired their parents after, and they're like, these parents look nothing like the children, so like give the mom pigtails like the daughter, because that's totally how genetics work.
Yes.
Yeah, but she basically he's whipped now by his much more attractive wife.
Yes. But basically, like, what's going on is that what Junie finds out is that the video game is not what it seems, and that it's actually a trap, and it's gonna basically trap all the minds of all the kids who play it and buy it. And
This is straight up a Yu-Gi-Oh plot. Like there is a straight up Yu-Gi-Oh arc that is this.
Oh, is this like the Toon world?
No, when they go into the Kaiba made the Duel Monsters video game MMO, and they all get trapped in it.
Oh, yeah.
That is straight up a Yu-Gi-Oh episode.
But his sister Carmen already went in the game, but she went missing in the game. So he needs to go find her. And basically, the game only has 5 levels, and the 5th level is technically unbeatable. It's where you basically get trapped, so they have to shut down the game. Because the toy maker is the villain, and he's
played by
basically
Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, and he had way too much fun in this role.
Oh, I guarantee you, most of this movie's budget was to pay for Sylvester Stallone.
And also the 5 minutes of what was his name? He was in it. He plays.
Oh, are we talking about the guy?
Yes, the guy.
We'll get to that later because it's kind of plot important.
But one thing I will so he goes into the video game world, and one thing I just gotta point out when they're in the video game world, these are the fucking ugliest, cheapest costumes. Like they put no effort into any of these. They're just ATV outfits.
Alex, the budget went into paying for Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, clearly. Like Alexa and Carmen and Junie have pretty cool outfits. But everyone else is just in like these ATV. Like I swear that they are just like ATV
motocross.
Outfits.
It's motocross
outfits. Yeah.
Or a paintball outfits, basically.
Yeah, it's literally just that.
What's hilarious though is the whole time, like, so Junie gets into the game, and the game is the most generic video game shit ever. Like it's like this MMO kind of, but like not at the same time. And he runs into other players, and accurately enough,
no, they're beta testers.
Well, yeah, he runs into beta testers, but what's hilarious is, like any real gamer, they fucking suck. They are the most biggest a-holes in the game. Like, they go out of their way to fuck Junie over.
Yeah.
At every turn. And also, I love the fact that they don't give a shit that Junie's in the spies. They're like, yeah, we don't care.
Like, go away. Whatever. Well, they don't believe him. They only actually believe him when they eventually meet up outside of the video game.
At the end of the game, they're like, what? He was telling the truth. But I love the fact that, like, the whole time there's actually a really great joke about them, like, later on that I love. But, like, there's, like, 3 of them, and one is very smart, one of them is super, like, cool, and the other's, like, super tough. Keep that in your mind for later.
Yes.
But yeah, Junie has to go through all these weird, like, different.
Well, he's just kind of bumbling. So, like, they immediately trick him, and he ends up on the moon of the world, and he ends up like fighting in giant mech suits.
Well, no, we're forgetting the most infuriating part of the film.
Does that happen before or after?
Yeah, it happens right before. So right before he goes to the mech thing, he gets Mike Judge calls him and is basically like,
"Hey, suck."
He's like, "We can only help you one more time before we're gonna get permanently locked out. We can let you bring in one helper, so Junie can choose anybody in his family other than Carmen for obvious reasons." And he decides, "I'm gonna bring in my disabled grandfather." Who's in a wheelchair, and I'm like, it's like, okay, Junie, and it's like his grandfather's in here, and what we don't know at the time is his grandfather has history with the toy maker, as the toy maker was the one that crippled him. So suddenly, like, the toy maker.
Wait, if the toy maker is the one that crippled him, maybe he just was a fucking shitty spy, because the toy maker is not that great.
Well, also, like, the whole time too, like, the toy maker's like actually like trying to be a nice guy throughout the thing. Like, my favorite, I think he's a little insane because he's talking to these 3 projections, which are just him. It's just Sylvester. It's just different costumes. It's Sylvester Stallone. One is a scientist, one is like this like tough guy, and then the other is a hippie, which I think might have been just Sylvester Stallone.
I honestly think Sylvester Stallone was just like, you know what? I have a bunch of kids. I'm going to do a funny kids movie for them, and I'm just going to have a good time. I think that's the only reason he's in this movie.
Probably. But, like, the whole time, like, he brings his grandfather back, and then, like, Sylvester Stallone sends out this power upgrade, which gives, it basically gives the grandfather this, like, power suit so he can walk again. And literally, the second he gets the power suit,
and the power suit is like all CGI.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous looking.
It looks awful.
Like, if you thought Green Lantern looked bad, ooh. That being said, though, like the second he gets the power up, you think, oh, cool, he's gonna help Junie. No, he just fucks off. Like
I'm gonna go chase the butterfly.
he just fucks off and leaves Junie there, and I'm like,
Junie's just like, all right,
great.
well, this was a fucking waste of time. I gotta go figure out. And then he fights in the mecha, but he ends up fighting against this girl. And I just gotta put this out there. I felt so bad for this girl. Why did they make her hair look so greasy and gross? Her hair looked so nasty. I'm like, what
Alex,
did they do to her hair?
That girl was probably like 11, and I looked through the actors' credits for all the kids in the game, and none of them did anything after this movie. So I'm assuming they got some random girl, and that's just
no. But they did something to her hair. Like every scene she was in, it just looked freaking awful. Like the poor
I don't know.
thing.
I just thought it was a 12-year-old
That's my
girl.
beef with the movie. No, they did something to her hair to make it look like that. Kids' hair just doesn't look like that unless like they don't wash it at all. And it's not like it wasn't like they styled it. Oh, the poor thing.
Know. Either way,
but
though,
also like Junie is a little like immediately goes, "Wow, I love her."
Yeah, Junie has a love interest in every fucking movie, by the way.
Junie is a player and a scam artist.
Wait, did he have one in the first movie? I don't think he did in the first movie because he was
the first movie he was still fetal, so
a child. Yeah. But yeah,
it was
like
just these two. It was just the two.
Yeah, he ends up beating her there though, and then he gets to keep the power suit, so he looks kind of cool now.
Well, and he kind of looks like the guy on the poster, which they dub the guy.
And they're like, he's the guy, totally. They're like, well, if you're the guy, Judy, then you're gonna have to beat us in this race. The race scene is pretty cool. I remember that used to always be my favorite part of the movie as a kid.
And the cart designs were pretty neat and stuff, but
I love the fact though that like they immediately
so incompetent.
Well, he falls so like they're in the race and like one of the beta testers is all like, hey, push that button right there. And he's like, what, the one that says do not press? He's like, yeah, it's a speed boost. So of course, like, of course, Junie presses it and it causes his car to self-destruct. This is after too he wrecked the girl again because he keeps screwing her over throughout this. But
she also picked a fucking terrible. Why would she pick the unicycle bike? Out of all the bikes, why did she pick that one?
Junie had the coolest one at first, and then that gets wrecked.
Yeah, so he loses it immediately.
Yeah, and then he just has to jump from car to car, and then the grandpa's there, and he's like, "Get another car, Judy. I'm not gonna actually help you.
Fuck off more.
I'm gonna go drive my wheelchair car." I thought it was really fucked up. They made his car like a wheelchair. But besides the point.
I found an image of him with his butterfly. That's literally all he does. He just chases fucking butterflies.
Yeah, it says like metaphors, and then like, so Junie ends up winning the race because Unicycle Girl somehow gets this fucking death machine at the end, and he ends up winning the race by sliding on a hubcap.
Yep.
Also, they have lives, and like, there's a whole gimmick is like once you run out of lives, the game's over. But Junie like somehow loses like 12 lives before he even gets here.
He sucks. And then like the next thing, well, the girl ends up, Demetra ends up joining them after.
But what I love is they're like, okay, Junie, you did this, so we'll think you're the guy now. Where do we go?
Yeah.
And there's a great scene where like he's like, guys, I have to go talk to my grandpa, and they're like, what? He's like, oh, I mean the wizard sage.
Also, like this whole time I think he tried to tell him he was a spy, but then he just kind of gave up, and they're just kind of following him, and they think he's trying to beat the game, but in fact he's trying to end the game. So that actually becomes a plot point in the end of like they get pissed. They're like, why are you fucking ending the game?
Well, then we get this like weird like scene with like one of the guys, like the other players, is like he's the quiet one that we thought was Taylor Lautner for a minute. We'll get to him later. He's all like, yeah, I'm doing this for my family because my family is poor. And Junie's like,
it's someone he somehow knew, which I don't remember how he knew them, but apparently they knew each other. Unknown how, but he just go with it. They knew each other before this.
But Junie doesn't have the heart to tell him there is no prize. So they get to the next level, which is like, this is bullshit. If this was in an actual fucking game, by the way. The next level the fucking fight to the death, and only one player can move
Oh,
on.
but don't forget though, before that, they're wandering all through the area and Junie stumbles upon a life pack that gives them 10 extra lives. And what does he do? He gives it to Demetra, who, guess what? Demetra's not even a real fucking person. So he just wasted those fucking lives.
Yeah, I hate that too, because they're like, that's super rare. And it's like, Junie's at like 4 lives by this point,
Junie's
by the
like,
way.
hey girl, hey, I'm a scammer, but I want to be your boyfriend.
I just met you and I already love you. like what the fuck?
Junie, you player and scammer.
Yeah, but here's the best part. Like, they get in this battle to death, and they pick Junie and the other guy, the tough guy. And the tough guy just beats the shit.
Incompetent.
Yeah, Junie. He gets knocked down to like 3 lives, and then he gets immediately subbed in for Demetra.
No, he gets knocked down. Doesn't he get knocked down to like 0.5?
Oh yeah, he gets knocked down to 0.5.
Which also that's fucking cheap. I'm sorry. Like, there's no 0.5 live. Like,
yeah, either as a kid I was confused because I thought his life counter reset for some reason because I didn't see the point at the time.
And then Demetra ends up subbing in for him, and she gets one-shotted. Like, I'm sorry, but like fucking Junie dumbass fuck has been like hit the same attack like 8 times and she loses all her lives in one hit.
I think that was supposed to be a really heartwarming moment, but as when you're an adult, you're just like, this is stupid on so many levels.
I don't know. I think even as a kid, I was like, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah. Anyways, so then they get finally to the next level, and then this is where. Oh yeah, Junie also runs into like the programmers for the game, because he was been cheating because Demetra gives him a map of the game, which is illegal. And the fucking programmers show up and they're all like, "We're gonna have to bounce you back to level 1," and then they immediately get defeated by the grandfather because he decides to actually give a shit for once.
Yep, and to actually do something to help.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Let's see what they really look like," and it's like, oh. Computer nerds.
And then this is also, I forget how, but the during this whole time, like when Junie gets the life pack, that was from the toy maker, and then the toy maker's like, all right, this kid fucking sucks. Here's his sister.
He literally says, he's like, I gave him his grandfather. I gave him the life thing. I gave him his sister back. What more can I do?
This kid sucks. But he ends up returning the sister. Who also, her costume has a design flaw because there's no number on it. There's no number spot for the lives.
Well,
so
she's
bothers me.
But she's also just so much fucking better than everybody else in the game.
That is also true.
Because I love the fact that she has this giant claw, and the whole time I was like, the claw.
The claw.
Because anytime it was on screen, it looked hideous, but I kind of loved it for that.
Yes.
And I love the fact too, because like she shows up and like the nerds are all like the other players are all like,
he's in charge now.
The pretty girl. Let's follow her because she's a bad bitch.
Yeah. And then they end up like, she's just like, why are these fucking idiots following us? And Junie's like,
there's a great part where like
I'm cool.
There's a great also the part where with Demetra where she's like, who's this? And she's like, I'm Demetra, because Demetra just comes back. Randomly. And then Carmen's like, who's this? And she's like, I'm Junie's girlfriend. And it's like, bitch, you met like an hour ago.
No.
Like,
stop it. You're 12.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But they end up finding out, oh yeah, she's actually not real. She's the deceiver.
Yes. But they don't know that yet, because at one point they think, because they go through, they actually have this, it would be cool if it looked good, but scene where they're surfing on lava, which then it turns out that the lava isn't hot because the toy maker's like, all right, these kids suck. I gotta get them where they need to go.
Also, that reference where they were like, lava, it's in every video game. And they're like, well, there wasn't lava in like Halo or something. Like they mentioned like Halo and like one other video game. I forget what it was called.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, wow, that's dated.
I forgot that. Yeah. But then they finally get to the door that leads to the next level.
Oh,
and then that's kind of where the conflict comes in, where they're like,
before that though, we have to talk about right before they get to the lava part. Like Junie's like, okay, guys, what's the game plan? And then like everyone just kind of fucks off, and like
Yep.
he's like, okay, Grandpa, we can do this, and the Grandpa's just tiptoeing away, like he doesn't even want to be part of this.
Yeah, he's like, "Oop,
I'm like, why is he such an asshole?
oop."
Like,
Grandpa, he was just doing whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't care.
pretty much, like he was just fucking around the whole time. But yeah, they eventually get to this door, and like they're all like, "All right, Junie, you're obviously the guy." Although at one point they're like, "No, Junie's totally the deceiver now. Let's fucking get him."
Well, but then the guy appears.
Yeah, and he's like, "He's not the guy.
Yeah,
I am," and
I'm the guy.
it's fucking Elijah Wood, and he gets one shotted, and he loses all 99 of his lives in a second,
Yeah.
and he literally like they go, "Okay, Junie, you're the guy again," and it's just like.
Which I'm sorry, but that seems so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Ugh.
Why did they even bring him? Like, what was
Yeah,
the point?
I don't know. But then they end up facing off against the toy maker, and the toy maker is like, "You did it! I'm gonna escape now!" And they're just like, "Well,
All right, and they're like, Junie, you have to press the lever, not the
yes."
lever right next to it, because this is a dumb design decision. The one on the right. It's
And
like
then
you
he
hit the one
goes,
on the left, it frees the toy maker, and he's like, okay, Grandpa, you do it.
"Yep." And he's like, "Yeah, my grandpa who totally doesn't have a vendetta against this man is gonna make the right choice. Yes, definitely." And guess what? Grandpa frees the fucking toy maker, so they end up going back to the actual world out of the video game. And guess what? All the toy makers freaking robot monkeys have been set free.
Yeah, and
Yes,
then
he
we
has
get
robot monkeys.
literally my favorite part though is then we get like
Cameo
literally
Central.
every cameo from everybody that mattered in the series shows up. Like the well, my favorite part too is when they first when Sylvester Stallone reveals himself. It's hilarious because they first show George Clooney,
Yep.
and then his face morphs into Sylvester Stallone. So it's literally Sylvester Stallone. It's George Clooney playing the president who's secretly Sylvester Stallone.
Yep.
Like what? Um,
Oh.
but yeah, then we get this whole fight scene where like, because there was a moment early on where Gertie giggles is like, Junie, remember, everybody's your family.
Yeah.
Junie's like, bring in everyone. And they literally bring in every person. Like Floop shows up, Mr. Minion, the robot children,
Flying pig.
flying. Oh yeah, fucking Steve Buscemi and his
Dinky.
flying pig. Oh yeah. The cowboy. What was his name?
Dinkies.
What was his name? It was like,
I don't remember.
why is this gonna bother me now? Dinky Winks. Which that was a very cute scene though, just because of the fact that he comes back to which the fact that they brought the cowboy back,
Yes.
the owner of the theme park, I had no idea why. Obviously, I probably just have Bill Paxton back.
He was probably just willing to do it, and they were like, "Woohoo, yeah!"
But like one of my favorite is like it was a really cute scene because Dinky Winks is there and he's got his son Dinky Winks Jr., who was actually played by Bill Paxton's son, which was kind of cute.
Yeah, that was really sweet. And honestly, all these fight scenes are. I mean, they're just like taking down these
Oh,
robots that no one can see without the glasses. You have to see
also,
the glasses.
I forgot to tell you this during the movie, but you did realize who the water park girl was, right?
Who?
That was Selena Gomez.
It was?
Yeah, according to the Wikipedia.
Huh. That was a very young Selena Gomez.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because I noticed it after a while. But yeah, the whole thing is like. Also, the scene that annoyed me was like when they're getting everybody in. Like the dad like joins the fight, and then like the fake uncle's like, "Well, I'm their uncle," and it's like, "Last movie, bitch, you said you weren't." Like,
Yes.
make up your mind.
Also, there's the scene where I forget his name, but Steve Buscemi, his character always had broken glasses, and then Alexa's like, "Oh, this is the last pair," and she gives him a broken pair of 3D glasses, and then 2 seconds later, she's giving out more glasses. You lying bitch! They're both scam artists. They're both scammers.
It's okay. Steve Buscemi didn't mind. He was like, "They're perfect. Come on, Porky," and then he flies off in his flying pig.
They are scammers. But they're kind of fighting all of them. But in the meantime, Grandpa is having a heart-to-heart with the toy maker, after all of this bullshit, he's just like, you know what? Let's right our wrongs. So let's just call it a day. And it's like they beat all the robots, and they basically were just like, you know what? We're gonna be friends now. I'm like, he broke your fucking legs. Like, what?
Also, did you notice how like Gary Giggles like was like getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom before he got called in?
Yes.
Like, you were a dickhead in the previous movie, and suddenly you're getting the Presidential Medal. Okay, sure, whatever.
Yep. They pulled some strings.
Just the whole movie is so fucking dumb.
You
But
know what? It's kind of funny. Like after recapping it, I'm like, I don't know if 2 was worse. I don't know.
well,
They
no,
both kind of suck.
no. Here's the thing: the difference is 2 is bad, 3 is really bad, but 3 is so fucking quotable. Like,
Yeah.
like
Well,
3.
At least 3 has a solid plot. 2 is just like whatever.
Here's the difference. The only line in 2 that I remember is the line about the watch, how it doesn't have a clock, which is funny.
Yeah.
In 3, I remember everything about this movie because there's like so many memorable
Dumb
moments.
shit.
Oh, but we also didn't talk about the fact that they bring out the beta testers, and this was a good reference because this is a
Yes.
real thing that happens in video games. They show up and they're all the exact opposites of what they were in the game. Like the cool one wasn't cool at all, the strong one was weak as fuck,
And the smart one wasn't smart.
No, he was dumb. And it's like, oh, it's because you're in a video game and you make yourself the opposite of what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really how it just ends with Grandpa being like, you know what, you broke my legs, but you're not too bad.
Yeah.
And the toy maker's like, I just want to be friends.
I did love the fact though that like when everybody shows up to join the fight, they all get like that text like thing where it's like Mr. Cortez or whatever. And it's just so dumb. I will say though, it's bad, but I do kind of like it at the same time.
No, I get it.
Like
but it's still a garbage movie.
Oh no, they're all garbage movies. Let's
the
be real
first one had some redeemable qualities, but the remainder ones are just garbage. They're bad movies.
Let's talk about the fourth one because the fourth one is fascinating.
Yeah, well, the fourth one is just from the beginning, you could just tell that there was no fucking budget for this movie.
Well, no, there was a budget. It went to pay for Jessica Alba.
Yes, because Jessica Alba is the main spy mom. Oh, but also, okay, this movie I will say does have one part which I think was lacking in the other movies. Do you know what that was, Bill?
What?
Robot Dog. Robot Dog really added something to this movie. I will say the dog is the best character of this movie. And the best part. I'm just gonna say it. He was.
I also kind of like Joel McHale playing the dad of the family, who's like a spy hunter, and he's just such a fucking
incompetent.
Goofball.
He's the Junie. Yeah. He's the Junie.
Also, like the little girl is a fucking shit. Like,
yeah, she's a little bitch. We're just gonna say it. She's a bitch.
So the whole
she's a mean to her stepmom.
The plot of this movie is essentially we start out with Jessica Alba's playing this spy character who's like an adult spy, completely separate from everything,
and she's also heavily pregnant.
Yeah, and she's doing all this shit. Also, I will say the guy who was playing the main villain, what's his name? Jeremy Piven, I think was his name. The goofy TikTok like guy who was with the high pitched voice. That guy was having a fucking blast this entire movie.
Honestly, I will say every person in this movie acted their heart out and had so much fun. Like that
honestly,
is what you can't deny.
Honestly, the person who looked like she was having the least fun was probably Jessica Alba.
Yeah, but even then, I think she did. I don't think she didn't enjoy doing this. Like it seemed like she had fun.
The scene where she's doing all the acrobatic shit while like fucking heavily pregnant, I'm just like, what is this? Like
that was just what an opening was just like, what the fuck? And then like she finishes a spy job and she's like, oh, I went into labor, and then her husband gets there before with her stepkids, and the kids are just like, what the fuck is wrong with this? How did she get here after? Like they literally are just like, I knew it.
Yeah, because she's a spy, but her family has no idea.
Yes. But of course, if you're a spy and you have children, they're going to get roped into it at some point. as they have with the
Yeah.
other movies.
But it's like the whole thing is like essentially she's retired now, but she's getting brought back into it because there's this weird like time plot thing going on where like the
And she
time
has a
is
necklace that has a stone.
that just magically fixes it.
Yeah, I don't know.
This movie is very fan servicey in a lot of ways, but it does it kind of the bad way.
When you say fan service, like to the Spy Kids fans.
Yeah, not.
Okay, when
I
you
mean,
say fan service, that's not what I usually think of. But I
well,
get it. Yeah,
the first half of the movie is Jessica Alba in tight leather, so I mean, they obviously were
but
trying to
also
appeal to
pregnant.
some. Yeah, but
But
even
also
later,
pregnant.
yeah, but later on, she's also in tight leather again,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not pregnant. So
Yeah, no, there were like because there were some that like I think we should get into I think the plot of this isn't too deep. I mean, she ends up getting reeled back into spy business.
and
She
then
has
the
a
house
baby.
gets attacked.
Yeah,
Um,
and the kids end up getting basically told about the spy business. They're in planes, and one of them is using puke to fight. He
the
used
little
his vomit to fight.
yeah, he threw the puke bags at people, which was kind of funny but gross at
And
the same time.
rather than having a fake uncle guide them through it, they have a robot dog, and they're just like, "My dog is talking."
I will
Oh,
say though, the daughter is a shit. Like I don't like her.
yeah.
The boy, the son was awesome. He was a
The
really good
son,
character.
the boy, the whoever played him, great. I hope he goes far because he was so fun and probably the best part of this movie.
Well, he was like the opposite of like Junie, where like he was actually like competent. And he was like he very much was like, yeah, it's dumb, but who cares? Like we can't change
Yeah.
anything about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually they end up getting sent back to like the spy corps, and Jessica Alba's character just happens to be related to the Cortezes.
Yeah.
So she's related. Her cousin is
Wow.
actually Carmen, and
Yeah.
we get that really awesome scene where Alex Vega walks up, but she's all grown up now, and it's like
Yeah.
she's back.
But this is where they did fan service badly. Too.
Well, the fan service of having like Carmen show up was nice. It was like
No,
cool,
that was awesome.
but
But
then they
then
show
like
this room where it's like look, here's all of the stuff from our previous like adventures, and at first you're kind of like, oh, that's cool, it's all things here, and then you see the fucking suits from the video game, you're like, those weren't real. Like
those were video game suits. Like they didn't like they forgot. They must have just forgot the movie.
Yeah, it was fan service to
It
be
was
fan
very
service.
annoying. Well, I guess like for us, like if we had watched it when it came out, maybe it wouldn't bother us as much. But we had just watched the third movie where we knew that it was a video game item. They didn't get to keep it, so how the fuck do they have it?
Yeah,
Continuity.
there was all sorts of stuff from the video game too in there, and I'm just like, yeah, that makes total sense, but whatever.
Yeah. And the kids get to pick 2 items that they'll use later on. But basically they end up having to chill in the command center, and somehow I forget how, but they just end up having to go and like
Well,
rescue.
the time plot starts where everyone gets frozen, including the
Yes.
one cameo of Danny Trio where he's just frozen and that he doesn't do anything. And then of course, like basically once everyone gets like kind of brought back, they're like, okay, we have to rescue the kids. But don't worry, guys, we brought in the perfect person for this. We have the #1 spy, and it's kind of like implying it's Carmen. And they're like, Junie Cortez.
And Carmen's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, because they hate each other again for some reason.
Yeah.
Plot reasons. Yeah, but I will say, like, it's mostly action. Like, there's not a whole lot of substance here. The fucking plot resolution with the villain was stupidly deep for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, because it ended up that like he like kept like going.
The main villain was the head of the spy corps, and it was like this weird convoluted plot where like he was as a kid he got frozen in time, and when he finally got out he had missed most of his life. He had lost his family and everything. So his entire goal is he's constantly trying to go back and like just to meet his dad, but because of how time works, it just never goes anywhere. You can't change anything.
Yeah.
And
he somehow thinks that maybe after the 500th try, it would change things, but it hasn't.
Yeah, because like it's shown that all of the minions are just other versions of him from failed attempts, and it's just there's hundreds of them, and then eventually he ends up going through anyways, and then he comes back old, and he's like, "You guys were right. I can't change the past."
But then that one psychotic minion is just like, yeah,
Yeah,
And they
basically
have to
just more.
fight him.
Also, the whole reason why, right away, Jessica Alba, Carmen, and Junie. I don't remember her name, so she's just Jessica Alba. But
Yeah, I think that's fine.
they get frozen in time because of the time stop thing, because it affects everybody with a badge. But Carmen threw Junie's badge away because she's like, "You don't deserve this."
Yeah.
Um,
So Judy's just like, I'm free.
yeah, and it's such a.
Gotta
Also,
go find them kids.
my favorite part was when Daryl Savara shows up on screen. He had such a glow up that Alex didn't even recognize him. She's like, "That's not the same guy." I'm like,
It
"Alex, that's him."
looked like him, but also like I had to remember that like he was literally still pretty much child. Like
Yeah.
Alexa Vega had like I think like kind of grown up a
Well,
little bit
girls
more.
also hit puberty first,
He
so
had
she.
not hit puberty yet. Okay, so then, but he was also younger than Alexa Vega too. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was like, that's not him, and I'm like, oh wait, it is him.
Yeah,
Shit.
and he's just as incompetent.
Yes, yes, he is.
Uh,
But that's part of the character.
the thing with this movie though, because there's the whole subplot with the dad, ruins his entire career because he finds out the family is spies and that they have this weird drama for 3 minutes
He
that
eats some
ends.
tape. He eats the tapes.
Yeah,
That is
the
the
whole
best scene in the fucking movie, where like he realizes it's his wife on camera, and then he just goes, "Boom!" and just starts eating.
yeah, eating the tapes and gets fired. But then he somehow gets the last comeuppance at the end. The whole movie's plot.
Well, he's a little annoying though too, because like he gets fired, and then like he basically like meets up with his wife, and he's like, I don't know what I can do anymore. I don't know how to feel. And he like leaves his kids with her, and I'm like, those are your kids. Like they're not her biological kids. You're the father. Like that was a little weird. But
the
they all love each other in the end, so it's fine. It's a
the
shitty
whole
movie. What are you gonna say? It's a shitty Spy Kids movie.
the thing
Whatever.
is, it's a shitty movie, but it's no worse than 2 or 3. They're
No,
all on the same level. They're all
I
equally
will say
bad.
though, they could have done better with the 3D elements. At this point in time, this movie came out a while after. They could have
Alex,
tried
this
something else than just throwing bolts, nuts, and bolts at the screen like
Alex,
before.
the fourth movie tried Smell-O-Vision again. Smell-O-Vision had been dead for years.
Yeah. Yeah, they really tried really dumb shit. But, they resolve it. They're a family. Also, we forgot to mention too, like the baby like shits or something, and like the baby has like atomic farts or something, and they use it in fights at one point. I'm pretty certain.
The entire movie.
A lot of poop and like vomit and barf jokes. Like a lot of poop, fart, and barf jokes.
Well, what's funny is when we were watching, you're like, wow, they really just gave up on trying to be humorous and just went to poop jokes. I'm like, Alex, in the second movie, they literally fall in shit.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like it was more I don't know, more pronounced. Also, the baby at one point was like was a doll, and Jessica Alba was just like whipping.
Yeah, no, you can see where it became a baby and where it became a dummy really fast.
So fucking funny. They just put the sunglasses on. It's like suddenly like baby, like
Yeah, I just the whole time watching it, I'm like, the whole time I was like, this is bad, but I was like, it's no worse than 3. It's no
no,
worse than
yeah.
2. Honestly, I think it's better than 3 and 2 in certain aspects.
In some aspects, in talking dog, yes. Talking robot dog,
I
definitely.
liked a lot of, so there wasn't a lot of big name actors in it was literally Jessica Alba. That was
Yeah.
and then they brought back Carmen and Junie, but the rest of
Yeah.
it was pretty much all no names.
Like the parents didn't come back, neither did the grandparents.
Yeah. They got Danny Trio for 3 seconds. I mean, and he didn't even speak a line.
Well, the dog budget. The dog budget.
That being said, though, I didn't think it was there wasn't a point where I was like, this is awful. I hate everything. I was like, nah, this is
honestly
just...
think it was on par. Like the first one's the best, and it was just on par with the other ones.
Yeah, there's the way I put it is the first one's up here and the rest are down here, and it's just a flat line of quality. They're not any better. The third one it gets a little bit of a boost for me just because it's super quotable, but that's really about it. Yeah. And then apparently they also made a 5th one, but I don't care.
We were gonna watch it, and then we just said we have watched too much Spy Kids. We are Spy Kids out.
There's also a TV series that was on Netflix, I think, at one point.
There was? Oh, yeah. Maybe that's the Armageddon. Maybe that's
Armageddon's a movie. There was also a series.
Oh no.
But yeah, I don't have time for that. We're also going to touch on the other movie that um Robert Rodriguez
I
made
mean, when
around this
else are
point.
we gonna talk about it? So
We didn't watch it for the thing, but I remember this movie vividly because we had liked Spy Kids the movies as kids.
yes.
This one, I was like, "What is this movie?"
This movie was also, I would say, the in between of Spy Kids 3D and then Spy Kids 4. We'll just call it 4D just to make it easier.
They did. They
Oh,
did in trailers.
okay. This was the in between movie. And it is known as Shark Boy,
No,
the
Alex, it is
Adventures of Shark
Adventures.
Boy and Lava Girl. The one adventure. There's not
Because this
multiple.
this movie didn't even have the Spy Kids charm to keep it going. This movie was just shit.
But Bill, it had one of the greatest castings of all time.
What?
George Lopez
As a
as
giant face.
that's the best fucking part of
You know what
this
my favorite part
movie,
is?
Mr.
He's
Electric.
You know what my favorite part about that is? The little shit kid. Who is the kid? Like he isn't even top cast because we know who was top cast in this movie, but
Clayton Boyd
that
as
yeah, him.
Max.
So the kid is like he has this dream. The whole plot is he's like it's a book of
My
dreams
dream journal.
and he's got all these like thoughts. His family doesn't understand him, bullshit, like
My
yada yada
family
yada.
doesn't love me.
But the whole thing is like his teacher is just a normal teacher, and it's George Lopez. But I mean, hiding the fact that it's George Lopez, he's just a normal teacher, and he's like Judy, not Judy, Max. He's like you're spacing out in class, like you need to pay attention, and he basically just makes him the villain of his book
He's just
for
like,
being
fuck you.
a normal teacher.
But the funny part too is like I'm reading this now. I don't know if this was on purpose, but he actually does voice though a lot of the other characters that are good in his universe as well. Cause he voiced Tobor and then also the Ice Guardian as well. But
Probably,
like
I mean, they
Tobor
probably
is like a good like a good memory to him. So it's funny that I don't know if it was like they just had him do it to be
I don't.
like to
I
be
assume it
fair.
was probably that. I don't think it was supposed to be that deep.
Yeah.
Um,
God damn it, Shark. I mean, it's the adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. How deep is it gonna get?
this movie,
Oh,
like,
it also had one of the greatest characters ever, named Linus. Send him to the principal's office, sir. It's one of the greatest lines in that movie.
the thing I remember from this movie is like he's got his whole like dream things because he made up these characters in his mind and gave them deep backstories and like Shark Boy is played by Taylor fucking Lautner and it is fucking hilarious.
As a child, let's preference both pre-Twilight Taylor Lautner. Oh,
Pre
this was one of his
Jacob.
first films. Yes, Jacob.
Yeah, and he plays Shark Boy, and the whole gimmick is like he was like this scientist guy, like the son of a scientist, and he made friends with the sharks. And when the science center gets destroyed in a storm, he's the only one that survives. And
And
the
he
sharks are like,
becomes Shark.
they're like, hey, that's Shark Boy, don't eat him. And he
Yes,
just becomes a shark. And I'm like,
yes.
oh, okay, that makes sense.
And
And then
then
Lava
Lava
Girl's
Girl
backstory is she
has
exists.
emerged from a volcano. I am here, and
Her
they're
whole
friends.
backstory is the fact that she doesn't have a backstory, and then that's why she has so many fucking issues in this movie.
Yes.
Also, like Max is 100% responsible for all the problems he has in this movie because, like, early on, like when his teacher's lecturing him for spacing out in class, he tells him to stop dreaming, like head in the clouds, and Max writes in his little book, "No dreaming," which completely causes the entire like end of dreaming plot in the his little fantasy world.
Yep.
Also, the bullies are like typical school bullies, and they steal his book and like ruin it.
Linus.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you Minus. I think that's what George Lopez
Oh
said.
yeah. Oh yeah. In the dream world, he's minus. Like he is
Yeah.
that is his thing. This movie is so shit. And then the little girl that like kind of no the principal's daughter or teacher, George Lopez's daughter, is like this girl that kind of likes Max, and then she is in the world as like the ice queen. No, that's why
Yep.
he was the dad, the
Yep.
ice guard, whatever. It makes sense now. If this plot makes no sense, it didn't make sense when we watched
It didn't
it.
make sense. I don't like because I'm trying to like think, and I'm like, what actually happened? Because I know they go into the dream world, and they confront Mr. Electric at one point and Linus at one point,
Well, because in the
and
dream world, Minus is like the main bad guy who's causing all the problems. Because he has the book, and then they finally get the book back, and then Lava Girl holds it and it bursts into flames, and then she goes like, "Why'd you make me out of lava, Max?" like, like the most dramatic fucking scene.
I
did you
also
did you forget about that scene? I always remember that scene because she's straight up the book. She holds the book for 2 seconds. It bursts into flames, and she immediately is just angry. like,
I also remember at one point they're trying to make Max dream so he can like actually do something in the dream world, and they're like, you know what, we need Taylor Lautner singing, and he's like, dream, 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 dream. Like the most like
oh yeah,
aggressive singing to lull someone to fucking sleep.
Sharkboy's also a fucking edgelord, like the whole time.
Yeah.
Also, that scene of him running in that when Lava Girl is like trapped in the thing, and she's dying because she got frozen, and she needs to be dipped in the lava to live. That
Yeah.
scene of Taylor Lautner running across that obvious green screen is so fucking goofy looking.
Everything about this movie was so goofy looking, and I think at one point like the dream world comes to the real world, and one of my
Yeah,
favorite parts is
and George Lopez is like, he's like,
what the
"Why'd you
fuck,
make me?"
Steve?
He's like, "Why'd you make me a giant face?"
Oh, this movie is so. I wish we could have found. It wasn't. We could not find it to watch it. Like it was not available
We
on any
also
streaming.
we also didn't try very hard.
We didn't try very hard, but we couldn't find it.
It was like 11 at night by that point. We were like, nah. Let's
Miley
watch
Cyrus.
Sonic.
Miley Cyrus apparently auditioned for this film. Good thing she did not get the role, because.
Well, no, she was in Big Fish
I didn't know that.
for like 3 seconds. She's in that
Yeah.
movie, but yeah, that's a good movie though.
Dream, 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 dream. That's all I can think of. I need to like look up like
clips from that movie.
quotable quotes, because I know like send it to the principal's office.
Why'd you make me out of lava, Max?
Let me see. He ruined my dream journal.
Give me back my dream journal, Minus.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Some of the funny.
Oh, when he falls on top of Taylor Lautner and he's like, "You crushed my fin." Also, when he's having his little dream sequence of like when Sharkboy came to visit him, he's in his shower and he just filled the shower. This isn't a bathtub. This is a stand-up shower. They filled it with water. That doesn't work.
Yeah,
it's not a perfect seal.
Shh. It's fine.
I love that
destroy
Sharkboy
everything I touch. I think that's what
I
she
love.
said.
Yeah, I destroy everything I touch. I gave her this angry voice because it's so funny. I also love how like Sharkboy gets this deep backstory and then Lava Girl just shows up. It's like, yay. That movie is shit though. Isn't it getting a sequel?
This movie is what?
I think they're making
hear that.
Yeah, they're making a sequel called We Can Be Heroes, and it was released on Netflix in 2020.
This is the full quote. This is the full quote of the Linus Kid. I did not, Mr. Electric, send him to the principal's office and have him expelled.
What the? Yeah, they made a sequel to this movie. They made a sequel called We Can Be Heroes. Yeah, it came out in 2020 apparently.
What?
The only character that came back was the girl that played Lava Girl, and she's not even in like the top like build people. So
We Can Be Hero. Oh God, we gotta watch. All right, now we actually need to watch this.
It only received mixed reviews from critics. I guess anything is a masterpiece compared to the first one. So
did they just recast Sharkboy?
I believe they did, because he definitely did not come back. Pedro Pascal is in this movie. What the
What?
fuck?
Is it made by the same studio? Like, is it? Oh yeah, there he is.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez. He made this.
Oh my god! All right, we gotta
Wait,
watch
okay.
this now.
Is Sharkboy in this? Um,
Well, I
JJ
see the
Dish-
Shark Boy costume. Like,
JJ Deshawn played Sharkboy, but it's a silent role because they couldn't get Taylor Lautner back. I'm sorry,
he's just like gone silent.
Oh no, it's even better. It's JJ Deshawn. It's a silent role, and you never see his face. Like, what a role!
Uh,
This looks like shit. What the fuck? Uh,
I kind
but
of
yeah,
want to watch it now. Just that line is still my favorite.
you know what's great though? You watch one of these movies, then you go to like watch like one of Robert Rodriguez's other movies, like Planet Terror, and you're like, this is the same guy. What?
They're like, what is happening?
Planet Terror is a zombie movie, so yeah.
I kind of want this sticker. Bill, can you get me this? It's a sticker. I'll send it to you in our Discord.
But yeah, these movies, watching them again were an experience. I'm not sure if I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I couldn't really say I enjoyed it. I mean, it was something. We wasted a good chunk of time. Let's go.
I will say though, anytime I'm in an argument now and I just want to end the argument abruptly, I'm just gonna look them in the face and go, "Why'd you make me out of lava, Max?" And just see how that goes.
Or send them to the principal's office and have them
expelled. Why'd you make me a giant face?
Just the way he says it too in that line, like, is so dramatic. Like, oh my god.
I love George Lopez as being like, I'm gonna start calling you Minus Linus.
Or one other thing, how the fuck have we almost talked about this for 2 hours?
Because how did we get as much time out of Sharkboy and Lavagirl as we did? Because we didn't even watch it. We remembered that much from it.
I just remember that from our childhood. Like, we went in theaters and saw
that.
I
vividly remember we liked Spy Kids 3 and the other ones. We went to see that and we were just confused. Because the plot is so fucking bonkers.
There is no plot. What the?
That was a classic case of mom being like, I hate everything. Like, I know
Mom just texted me and it just says Medusa with an exclamation point.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm just gonna respond with a question mark. Maybe it wasn't meant for me. Question. Medusa.
Everything I touch burns.
Send him to the
principal. You ruined my dream journal. All right.
Dream. They should have just had, instead of him being silent, they should have just played that clip on repeat of just dream.
Yes. How much do you bet Taylor Lautner wasn't unavailable? His response was just no. Make it so I'm unavailable.
Honestly, I don't even think he's acting anymore because, like, he basically, like, I want to say ruined his career, but, like, he made a lot of really bad acting in movies. Not all of them were his fault, but he was in so many bad movies that, like, he's just, like,
his stock is way down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that adventure, once again, guys, thank you for joining us on the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. You can find the Gaming and Collecting Podcast on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com, an awesome site where you can find all sorts of different shows, blogs, videos, and you can check out all of our other shows.
There's sandwiches on there.
And you can check out all of the other cool shows over there, like Superpod Saga, Super Ghost Radio, Retro Rehab, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, A Novel Console, Bar Silence Fine Time, The Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast, Remember 64, Gaming Together, Friday Night Gamecast.
Not Gaming Together, the 64. Need to clarify.
Gaming Together, The 3DO Experience, Geek Addicts, the Retro Wildlands, Press B to Cancel, the Pre-Order Bonus Podcast, and Retro Mo video game reviews. And with that, everybody, we will see you all next time.
We'll see you in the principal's office. Because we're expelled. No! Get rid of that. I hate waffling. I hate that word. Attack on what? Have you started watching Attack on Titan?
Nope.
I'm going to ask every episode until you watch it. Start watching it.
Have you finished Dandadan yet?
No. Have you started I haven't started watching Dragon Ball either. And Matt, I'm not going to out of spite. I don't want to watch it. I'm kidding. I'll watch it so I have context going into Daima. But I might delay my watching of Daima as well.
So she's never going to watch it?
Well, Attack on what now? Phil, are you ever going to watch Attack on Titan? No! Make it pink.